Welcome back to the Artist Forum. My name is Michael Inge, and I'm your host for this evening. Our next guest is a music artist based here in Brooklyn. She's a singer, songwriter, producer, and multi-instrumentalist. Her name is Valerie Orth. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Valerie has a new EP called Wake You, and you've just released that.
Yeah.
But before we get into this EP, tell me a little bit about your career up until now for folks who maybe aren't familiar with your music and what brought you through to this EP.
Oh, okay. I have a couple of albums that I did when I was living out in San Francisco. I started out kind of as a folk and alternative rock artist, had a band for years, and then I moved to New York looking for like maybe a harder core sound and found my way into the women beat makers world. A lot of
cool.
you know, producers that are, somehow I found a little niche where there's actually women that are producing beats. So this album, this EP, was my first kind of foray into being a producer myself and trying to learn different software tools and hardware as well. Along, you know, I play guitar as well, and yeah, it's been a really interesting journey through various different genres.
So tell me, what was the process like in creating this EP versus your previous albums?
The previous albums, I completely finished the songs pretty much before I brought them into the studio. Some of them, two of the albums, I would bring them to the studio and then I'd work with the producer and kind of rearranging them. Some of the singles that I've done in the past, I would bring my whole band in, like a 6-piece band, and we'd rock out in the studio, and it's pretty live. This EP, some of the songs were written in the studio while we were recording. Oh, cool. So, and then I would take them home and I would do some production stuff myself, adding different sounds and reversing sounds and rewriting the lyrics. And I ended up recording, I think, all of the vocals in my bedroom. Oh, so cool, it was really different from going into like a big studio and getting everything done. And it wasn't one shot. I mean, it would take a year still to do an album, but it was like, you know, you'd go in and focus on one song for an entire day. So it was like a lot of back and forth, a lot of different bedroom studios. More like, you know, how the music industry is now. The current DIY thing that we're doing. So.
Well, I saw the video, of course, Make Your Move, and it's great. You just released that.
Yes, February 14th for Valentine's Day. First
of all, tell folks where they can see the video. And everybody needs to go and see that.
Everybody needs to see it, yes. It's at youtube.com/Valerie Orth, and it's the featured video. It's the music video that I have that I'm most proud of. It was so much fun to make. I wrote the song like 3 years ago, and I had this story in my head as I was writing my song, this concept of a man and a woman just like intensely staring at each other. That's not really much of a story, but the director came in and was like, well, this is what you could do to make something actually happen in 3 minutes. And I wanted it to be in this, you know, 1920s Prohibition era style. And apparently that fashion is really popular, so it was really kind of easy to go through friends' closets and find costumes and things like that. It was just really fun to make, as you know. Yes. But yeah, youtube.com/Valerie Orth.
Next, we're actually going to hear you. You're going to perform for us.
Yeah.
Another song, which was actually the first single from the EP, Pixie.
Yes.
Real quickly, tell me a little bit about that song.
Pixie was the first, I'll start backwards. It was the first release that I put out that I actually partially or mostly produced myself. So that was really exciting. And the producer that I worked with for the EP gave me a loop. It was like 3 minutes long, but it was mostly the same loop over, maybe 2 loops over and over again. And I got to chop it up in Ableton, which is the software that I work in, the DAW that I work in. And then I sang, I just kind of, I hear a lot of songwriters do this, but just kind of like mumbled words until something made sense. And I was reading this book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. This, you know, all about self-help and empowerment and things like that. But somehow I got to this, I stopped after one chapter and I was like, if my inspiration looked like something, what would it look like? If it was like tangible, what would it look like? And so I sat there and wrote about it for a while and somehow ended up drawing in words. I can't draw at all, but like just describing a Pixie with this big fluffy skirt on
Oh,
and
wow.
these big poofy white sneakers, and and like spunky and kind of annoyed with me that I wasn't like doing anything all the time, or if I was like, I don't feel like working, she'd be like, bouncing on me. I don't know. I just like imagined her like this little fairy kind of.
Yeah, that's cool, and it totally fits with the sound of the song because it's got that whimsical kind of light feel that just makes you feel good.
Yeah, and that little Pixie ended up being, kind of the icon for the album too. She's on the actual CD and stuff. So.
And now we're going to hear Valerie Orth perform Pixie live right here on the Artist Forum with guest singer Kathy Comperatore.
She's up above me, not too far, a glowing Pixie, a spunky deity with motivation, hibernates. She stubbornly shakes my bed and shouts in my head, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. I'm collecting dust thrown just like an old toy. She spins her web every month or so to catch my attention, catch my daydreaming. She's watch hunting, gathering. She's plucking my guitar while she's calling on me to get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. I'm collecting dust thrown just like an old toy. She's just up above me. She laughs on my shoulder, says, I'm here just for ya.
Wow, great performance.
Thank you.
So tell us what's up next for you. You've just released this EP, and congratulations, you've gotten some great press from this. Consequence of Sound, Vent Magazine, Impose.
Yeah.
Great. What do you do? Are you going to tour with the project? Are you straight into writing more for something next, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm definitely starting to write my next album. It's really important to keep writing and keep releasing stuff. I got some shows coming up in New York, and going to tour in New England this summer, and hopefully in the fall have a bigger tour, but it'll be writing and traveling, little tours probably here and there as well. And mostly I'm really working on my electronic set and doing, being able to do live looping like you saw and things like that.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, we have a lot of viewers that are fellow artists, and some of them are aspiring or just starting out. If there's any words of wisdom or anything that maybe has helped you along the way on this journey as an artist, is there anything you would offer up?
That's a huge question. I know we have a limited time. I guess and I'm really don't want to be cliche. It's a long journey. I mean, there's no overnight success. I don't believe the people that are found on YouTube didn't work really hard to get where they were and didn't continue to work hard. The industry is different now, so you really have to do it because you love it. You have to have a plan. You have to be flexible with that plan. You have to find mentors and friends and somehow make it sustainable. It's a hard journey, and I mean, like, you got to enjoy the journey and not expect really to be big and famous overnight, or having realistic goals. I hate to be cliche. It's just what I found. It's very true, and you just keep going and work with the people that you want to work with. If there's a red flag, acknowledge that and work with somebody else.
Yeah.
You're always going to have, need a team of people around you, and it's really important. My friends, like you, have been really important in kind of getting me through the hard times, and I know there's more of that ahead, but I'm also really relishing in things that are going really well, and even if it's small things, and celebrating the little successes. I mean, being here is really great today.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you so much for being here and being a guest.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
You can find out more about what Valerie's up to next and hear some of her music at valerieorth.com. Thank you all so much for watching the Artist Forum. My name is Michael Inge, and we'll see you next time.